Discovery, Roger. Go for deploy.
2, 1,
0.
and liftoff. Liftoff. Americans return to space as Discovery clears the tower.
Welcome to Toon Talk 2.0.
Today, we've got a special episode for you. It's not Halloween, it's not Christmas, but we've been really sick with this stupid sour throat.
No, actually, since we're recording this one, because this one
Yeah.
is pre-recorded, guys, I can actually voice change you on this one.
Ooh, can I sound like? Imagine the lack of imagination.
Can I sound like Justin?
There's probably a voice similar to Justin.
I'm just kidding, but I'm just
try
kidding.
that.
Imagine I have every voice in the universe. I want to sound
Actually,
like.
Thanos.
there's a similar one. It's not exactly Thanos,
Oh,
but
I can do Snoop Dogg. Yeah, I want to be like Snoop Dogg.
I don't know. There's a lot of voices I haven't played with, but we can have fun with that. I did a bit in an episode of The Final Frontier where I was talking about how I changed, because on the pre-recorded podcast, I'll usually have like a bumper be like, "This podcast is brought to you by." It's my voice,
And I just use a voice character to change it?
but CapCut's voice changing is actually really good.
Which
Like,
one
it's
do we
exceptional.
use?
We don't, because we're normally live.
No, but what I mean in the company.
It depends. It depends on the podcast. Like Haley's at the beginning of Part of Your Broadway World, it's a woman.
That is my voice.
Wow. I was actually going to tell you to introduce me to her. Anyway, welcome everyone to Toon Talk 2.0. Today we have a special event because we're getting ready for the celebration of our yearly, how we call it?
Well, the
Award?
official name is the Arete Media Podcast Pantheon Awards, but
Look at that beautiful. So we
it's
cut it
better known as
A-
the Artie Awards.
the Artie Awards. Yeah, I was going to do the how you say already? Pantheon Podcast Award is the APPA, the APA.
AMPPA.
AMPPA.
So the
is the
AMPA.
AMPA. I kind of like it. The
AMPA.
The AMPA is like Greek AMPA.
It does
Anyway.
have a bit of a Greek vibe to it. Yeah.
Well, say just hello to Papa D now that we say Greek.
So
Hello,
Papa D.
AMPA.
Hey, he's nominated actually.
I
So,
know, and we're gonna talk about that. So this time you can't go anywhere. Even we are pre-recorded is because we want to do and guide you through a whole experience. But because first we're gonna talk about all the podcasts that we have in the family, and then we're gonna talk about the nominations, so you can feel it. Everybody knows that Toon Talk is gonna win. That's what we're doing. This we're just trying to keep it on the low, right? We're just showing a little swagger here, right? A little risk. But we all know the results. Why? Because we can. But if
well,
you don't
actually, no,
want
we
to-
don't. We don't know the results yet.
I know I was going to update. But if you want me to be a jerk and win, great. But if you don't, it's really easy. You can just go into the links down here. Look, can you put it here? Right here, right?
Well, it's in the description.
But right here, and it's here, it's gonna say, just go to the description, click and just vote for everyone that you like. If you really, really hate my voice, if you really, really hate everyone, just vote for somebody else.
Well, if
but
they
if
hate
you
your
really
voice, I
like
could just
it-
change it.
I know. Come on. Get over the changing boys.
It's
Come on.
fun.
I know it's fun. We should do an audio book. Oh, next year. Anyway, welcome to Toon Talk 2.0 with the AMPA.
So you know
Awards.
what? You know what might make this fun? Let's treat this like an interview, because we're basically going through all the podcasts on the network.
Sure.
And as we
Sure.
keep going, it'll be the two of us talking.
But you don't want to do it like we always do, like when we talk about other movies.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's do it that way. It's more fun.
Yeah, and I we can just go without stopping. Just go.
It's actually a pretty it's a pretty interesting story, honestly, especially if you're into podcasting and independent media. It's an interesting tale.
So what we then we start with that, the history behind Arete Media.
Oh, I like how you Oh yeah, I like how you. I thought your what would you call it? Your cadence. I thought your cadence was going to be different there. I liked it.
Thank you. I don't know what I did that. I've been recording the whole day. So Arete Media
The
podcast.
media.
Anyway, so Gyros, tell us how everything started.
Well, everything started, honestly. It started with, it wasn't a joke. It started with, so my longest, well, not my longest, but my longest best friend relationship that has stood the test of time, and we've remained close. Um, so for a while there, because I was married to a bitch, I mean, a woman that just didn't, we weren't compatible. I kid. I say,
Every time you say something like that, instead of beep, you're gonna put Arete Media podcast.
no, but I was married to a woman that we were not compatible. And part of that was I was isolated from my friends and family because I listened to her like an idiot, and I own that. That was all me. But that being said, after we separated, I reconnected with a lot of people. And one of those being my very good friend Eric, who we'd always kind of been talking, but we weren't hanging out. So it's not like I hadn't spoken to him in years. It was just like we just hadn't hung out in a while. Well, that being said, we were hanging out more and more, and he kept bringing up the idea because we're both big fans of the Joe Rogan Experience podcast and other, podcasts in general. And we'd always have these like really long political discussions. Everybody else would be drinking, and we'd be on the couch being like, "No, this is what they should do." Da 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 da. And it's like, "Well, no, that historically doesn't work." Those kinds of conversations. So he keeps bringing up the idea. It's like, man, we should do a podcast. And I'm like, yeah, right. Like, what? Who's going to listen to us? What are we going to talk about? Like he's like, well, this, and I'm like, this is boring to the vast majority of people on the planet. But he kept bringing it up. And I'm like, you know what? Fine. Let's do it because I mean, I don't have a problem talking. But I figured we'd do it 2 or 3 times, then he'd get bored with it, and we'd just stop doing it.
Yeah.
So I show up and he's got this whole, I mean, rudimentary, but he's got this whole thing set up with microphones and a mounted camera. And I'm just like, oh shit, okay, he's serious. So we do the first episode. It was a lot of fun. And then we just keep doing it fairly consistently because there were breaks, life happens, that and then the other. But we've been pretty much doing it since 2020. Pretty steadily.
The COVID year.
The COVID years, yes. We got our start actually pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID.
Yeah. So we actually started, we went through the COVID period, but we started in October of 2020.
So after that, how you jump from one podcast to 5 and then to 10, and now we have 16 in the
Well, they're all quasi connected. So down the middle, which was the second podcast, started because frankly, we were tired of talking about politics and we didn't really know what else to talk about. Well, our good friend Benji, who has since passed away, but at the time, obviously, he was alive, and mutual friend. But Benji's was a big wrestling fan, just like I was, professional wrestling. And I'm like, well, I'm sure Benji and I can talk about pro wrestling for, at least an hour, right? Because I mean, we have these conversations online anyway, and we do it. And that episode is called Podcastomania, and it's really good. Like, we go for about 2 hours, and there was a lot more to say. And I was just like, okay, that felt right. We got something there. So I talked to Benji, and I'm like, hey, I think you and I should do a podcast about wrestling. And he said, absolutely, I'm down. So
nice.
we do Podcastomania number 2 and announce our, if I'm remembering correctly, because God, it's been a while.
Yeah.
But we do another one. No, actually, I take that back. I think Podcastomania was filling in on a night that Eric couldn't make it. Regardless, we go.
Come
Anyway,
on, smack that bitch. Come on, smack yourself. There you go. For the people
Anyway.
that are just listening, he's smacking himself. Not in the way that you're thinking.
no, not smash debating. Smacker baiting?
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah. So we're doing down the middle. We're doing consistently. And then I always had, in fact, I had this, actually, no, I rebranded my YouTube channel after we started doing the Average Intelligence podcast because I'd had a YouTube channel since I had my old video production company, Vision Video, but I wasn't doing anything with it. And that was back when the YouTube partner program was actually good and I was actually making a little bit of money, not a lot of money. And then they changed the rules and I wasn't getting anything. So I just wasn't using it. So I thought, okay, I'm going to rebrand it because I like doing YouTube. I like making videos. But the Vision Video, obviously, because Vision Video is defunct, it doesn't exist anymore. So I rebranded it on New Year's Eve and rebranded it. And it was funny because for almost a year, at least 6 months, I was racking my brain to what to call this new company, this new channel, and I just
Yeah.
couldn't figure out a name for it. Couldn't figure it out at all. And then it hit me. Probably my favorite professor, certainly in the college level ever. My favorite professor, Philosophy 101, Dr. Barton Updike. Shout out to you. I mean, he's still alive, but obviously we don't talk regularly anymore.
We
Not
don't
in this
talk
class.
anymore. We don't talk anymore.
And actually,
as we used to do.
I did shoot him an email when I rebranded the channel, just on the off chance that he would. I love the man, but he's technologically impaired. I once walked in on him trying to Xerox a what do you call that? Like a piece of crystal glass, like a crystal
Yeah,
glass
yeah.
to try to copy the pattern, and I'm just like, what are you doing? He's a weird dude, but in the best way. Um,
Anyway,
I remember the concept of arete. He was talking about it in the class, and I remember that really resonated with me. So, for those of you who don't know, arete is an ancient Greek concept and an ancient Greek word that doesn't have a direct translation into English, but the best equivalent, at least the one that I like, is essentially the virtue of excellence in everything that you do. Now, that doesn't mean you have to be the best. It just means that you have to be the best that you can possibly be, like put forth your best effort,
like
the
Coach
best
Carter.
preparation. I mean, basically, yeah. It's like, here's the thing. Like, and I would never do this because I think people that run marathons are mentally ill. But if I were to choose to run a marathon, like, I would consider that as a success from the perspective of Arete is if I trained and, I gave it the best effort I could possibly give and didn't quit and finished the marathon, I would consider that a win.
And I got the perfect example. You remember the movie Friday Night Lights?
Oh, yeah.
Be perfect. It's not about winning. It's not about right. It's the confidence that you do your best effort from you and the people that you love and surround you.
Mhm.
There you go. So now
Exactly.
we're gonna rebrand the whole thing. We're gonna be called the Friday Night Light Podcast. Sorry, keep going.
I mean,
Sorry.
you could do a watch along. That would take you some time.
Anyway, so the podcast is ready. You start growing, and now you have a name. And then what happened?
Well, so
I know
actually
you want
that
to do
was
the interview thing.
yeah.
Let's just go. Let's
Well,
go
that
there.
was actually just for the YouTube channel because my original plan was to do sort of like history and informative videos, but the podcast came about after because of Average Intelligence, and this was shortly after YouTube had implemented YouTube Shorts. A lot of people don't remember that because that's been some years ago, but YouTube wanted to compete with TikTok in short form content. And before that, YouTube didn't have short form content, not
Actually, they
specifically.
were trying to compete not to TikTok. They were trying to compete to the previous one. What was the name? Before TikTok, it was some short.
Musical.ly.
No, before that, it was
No, it was
something.
Musical.ly.
Musically
And
was,
no,
but
they
there
were
was.
they were
I'm
they were
thinking about other
competing.
one.
No, they were
I'm thinking.
competing with TikTok. They came out and said it. Like Google made an announcement and said in order to compete with TikTok and other short term, because Instagram Reels came about to compete with TikTok too. Like
Oh yeah,
this is all
totally. I remember that.
yeah.
I remember that.
Short form content as we know it today was basically started by TikTok, even the 9:16 aspect ratio. Like
I
this
got a
is the
question for
thing.
you. What was the name of the previous one that it was a yellow platform? That it was just shorts.
Was it Vine?
Vine was the one that
So
that started that.
Vine started, but Vine was really short. TikTok kind of
Yeah.
perfected that model, ironically, by making them just a little bit longer because I think
Yeah,
Vine was
was
limited
like
to
15, 18 seconds. It was
yeah,
like
yeah,
really
it
short.
was under 30 seconds. But anyway,
No.
so I gotta say, credit to YouTube. YouTube did it right. Average Intelligence was stuck at about 55 subscribers for like 2 years. And then we started making shorts almost immediately, just clips of the podcast, and we grew so fast. Like we jumped from 50 to about 1,500 in like 2 months. It was ridiculous.
Nice.
So And then we started doing the same thing with Down the Middle, and it grew. Now, at the time, Down the Middle was on the Arete media channel, and it became confusing, so I made it its own channel. That's why if you look at it today, it's got its own channel. But I said, well, I need shorts for the Arete channel if I want it to grow. So I'm like, I need a podcast on this channel. So I just did basically a JRE ripoff where I just interview people, and I only do that once a month. But I have a lot of fun with it because I like talking to people about. I really like obscure subjects, but I've talked to a bunch of different people, and that actually led to meeting a lot of people that would go on to have podcasts, starting with this guy right here.
Yeah, it was fun. I remember that you contact and I would talk about this before. I
Which
was
actually
just
we're skipping a bit because we're skipping Haley and Justin because that
yeah, but we
happened.
can get back to that.
Yeah,
It's
we
just
we we we, we connect. I connected with Justin and Haley basically the same way that I connected with you. So yeah, it's kind of a universal story.
yeah, that so the thing is I actually start following you because you have a really good comment about Titanic, and I actually realized that it was a smart comment. And you just appeared in my random selection thing. It wasn't like that, and I response, and then you response in private, and we have a little combo right there. That's it. Time passed, probably 2 3 weeks, maybe. I don't recall. I really don't recall
I think it was
how much
only
time.
about two. It was only
Yeah,
about 2 weeks. Yeah.
and then you contact me because I guess you look into my profile and you say, I like your band. Would you like to have an interview? I go like, sure, when? They just cancel me. You say, okay, let me call the guys. Let's do it today or tomorrow or something like that.
Which that floored me. I can't tell, which you already know this because we've talked about it. I couldn't believe, and this is why I can't say enough good things about TikTok as an app because I will say it's probably the fairest algorithm of them all. Because like you said,
Probably.
well, like you said, I just popped up on your For You page, and we're a small channel.
Yeah,
Like,
no, it's really equal. And I don't know how they did it. I don't know the connection. Obviously, I watch a lot of movies. Probably was like that. But it wasn't at that point. We barely have our TikTok open for a month. Like,
yeah,
because it
yeah.
was like, for it was really new. And suddenly we jumped to 6,000 followers. And I was like learning how to use TikTok. And then we start talking and you did a big interview. If you want to see how much weight I've been losing, just watch that interview.
Oh
I
yeah.
was this big, dude. And we talk and it was a good interview. Time passed another couple of weeks. And one day I'm like, you know what? I want to make a
Oh my
podcast.
God. Oh my God.
And,
This is
well,
funny. This is really funny.
and I called you because I had your phone number, right? And I called and I say, hey man, I want to do a podcast with you. And he's like, yeah, can I as a guest? I go like, no, with you. Let's be a co-host thing. And fast forward a year and a half already now, and we've been doing week rest 2 weeks, I guess, in the whole year and a half. And because we're doing other projects of the company, it's not like we actually rested. And we've been like that. You introduced me to Haley, you introduced me to Jordan and Justin. And so that when we realized we're merging companies, being business partner and everything, and then Justin, an amazing guy, Jordan, an amazing guy. I mean, Haley, we every time that Haley and me share the screen, thanks to you, we mess each other like we're brothers. We really communicate like brothers,
Yeah.
right? So it's a really funny thing. But why
Which
don't you tell us how you met them? How you met Haley
I was just gonna say I don't want to gloss over them, but it is very much a similar tale. So Haley also, um, yeah, I think she commented. I can't remember exactly what the engagement was, but she engaged with some of the Titanic posts, just like you did.
Come
And
on, smack yourself.
I know, I'm so tired, and I don't know why, because I slept
Come
really
on,
good
we're
last
just
night.
recording Sunday night. We never stop in already media, people. We never stop.
But the thing is, I'm still so small
Never
that
stop stopping.
never stop stopping. But every time somebody like engages with my content, I actually, engage back. I check them out and I looked at her profile and I'm like, okay, she's like she's into Disney and Broadway. I'm like, there's a huge fan base for both of them, so much less together, and they intersect because a lot of people that are really into Disney are really into Broadway and vice versa. So I sent her a message, which is kind of funny now because I've had like 3 people tell me the same thing after the fact where I approached her. I'm like, hey, have you ever thought about doing a podcast? And she said, actually, I have, but I don't know how to do it. And I'm like, well, I can help you with that. And then,
And but
yep. And then Justin although Justin's different because Justin came across my For You page, and I'm like, this guy's funny. I like him. He's entertaining. And checked out more of his content, and then I messaged him. If I'm not remembering Justin, if I'm wrong, remind me. But I believe this is how it went down. And then we had a conversation. I love it because he had the same, and Haley told me this too. Is like their first reaction was like, "Sounds good, but I'm not giving you any money." And I'm like, "That's cool because I'm not asking for any money." But basically, Sam. Turns out Justin and Jordan, the incomparable Jordan, his co-host, they had tried to do this before, but it just never got off the ground. I think honestly they tried a little too early because it was kind of their first thing was when YouTube was growing, but podcasts really weren't. It's a different format.
yeah.
But so that became the spur of the moment podcast. And now you're going to have to refresh my memory because now it's starting to blend together. Because this is when it really expanded quick.
Well, it's when my craziness, I guess, when my craziness arrived. I say, you know what? We have a business opportunity here. It's going to be a lot of hard work at the beginning, but why stop there? Why we don't connect with people that we know they're real, that they have a spirit, entrepreneur spirit, and we just take it as big people, and we do the editing, we do the posting, we do the promotion and distribution like a studio, and let's have a lot of podcasts. And then you contact the Goosebump crew. I created and produced with you, leading up the band. You produced with the Final Frontier, that I came with that amazing name.
You
I
did.
gotta say,
I don't even remember. I think I wanted to call it To Boldly Go.
To Boldly Go, and it was good, but it's complicated. Even say boldly.
It's not as obvious to the branding as Final Frontier. So,
And I'm gonna be honest, I love the Final Frontier podcast. Sometimes I put it, you know that I put podcasts to fall asleep. So I put it for that.
So I'm kind of shooting myself in the foot with that one because I'll be honest. I knew that I wanted the first episode to premiere on Star Trek Day, which is the anniversary of the first episode airing, and which I believe is September 8th. I don't have it in front of me. That sounds right. I underestimated how much work editing that show is. If I were a smarter man, I probably would have delayed the first episode until 2025, so I could have had a whole season done. But it is what it is.
It's a process. It's a process.
It's really hard and time consuming, but God, I have so much fun editing that show.
But I gotta be honest, and I don't want to sound bad, and I don't here to complain, but I don't know when we don't have a nomination for the best music theme of the podcast. I don't think it's fair because I work as hard as you. But okay.
Honestly,
whatever.
you know the only reason I didn't do that?
Because I'm the only one that does the music.
No, because we were kicking around the idea of best editing too, but I'm like, I mean, that's
I told you we're supposed to have one.
Well, no, the reason I didn't, because honestly, I do want to do that, but the reason being is because we already added 2 additional categories, and I didn't want to go crazy. So we'll probably put it in next year.
And then Startup Corps with Saul Tarazona. Saul is a Bitcoin advisor, right, from the company, and
which is I'll be honest, to me, it's seeing Saul as a host is really weird for me because I knew him prior.
Yeah,
it's like he's not a bad host. I'm not saying that, but it's weird for me because I've had casual conversations or been part of casual conversations with Saul, and I'm like I'm not used to hearing him be so professional.
Then he introduced us to Dr. Fantastic, and that guy to the Complete Guide of Happiness podcast. Then Peter Sisa, we represent Peter Sisa in Force and Industries Corporation. And surprisingly, when we released Peter Sisa, his views weren't to the roof.
Well, no, fun. So this is why it's funny, because initially his podcasts weren't doing that great, which I'll be honest, that didn't shock me because classical music, wow.
It's a complicated niche.
It's a weird niche to tap into. Once you do, the fan base is really strong. but it's really hard to get noticed. That's so
Yes.
I figured he'd be lower for a little while longer, and then
Then,
I looked I looked at the views and I was like, the fuck? And then I realized it was his episodes. I was like, holy shit.
yeah, it's crazy, but good for Peter. He's a maestro
Well,
guitar player.
it's good because it's a really good show. Like it's
Yeah,
a really good,
it's a
informative,
real
educational.
old school, well done, nice show. My personal favorite after Toon Talk, obviously, Road to Stardom. David Firestone, we're partner of his talent agency, a management agency in Beverly Hills. He's a guy that produce movies. So when he sends his material, it's so well done, right? So the paste is so good.
I love so shout out to David Firestone and Saul because not to say nobody's bad about this, but it's just like their shows are so easy for me because they do all the preparation proper, like they're pro, they
Because
send their
one is
stuff.
a professional entrepreneur that developed airplanes with Force and Corp,
Uh-huh.
and the other one is a professional manager for 20 years in Beverly Hills. So he's been in the industry forever. So they understand that. Uh,
They're my fastest edits because like it's just so easy. I
yeah.
love editing their stuff because it's like once I get it, it's like okay, this will only take me about an hour. This is great.
And then
Sometimes less.
the youngest one of our podcasts, and we're going to talk more about every one of the podcasts. We're going to talk about what is which one. Our youngest podcast is The Method by Coach Book and Eli Reza. Believe it or not, Coach Book is my cousin. It's my direct cousin. We
Now
grew up like brothers.
that one's a
That
different animal.
well, the thing is, they're really good being coaches,
Yeah.
extremely good. They do the animal method, and we're gonna go deep into that. But if you think that your college, your college teacher is a little block, or let's say neophyte, or let's say obtuse, or I'm not gonna say dumb because I love my cousin, because Ellie is a different matter. But with technology, is book. It took him more than 3 months to learn how to use WhatsApp. People, he and technology just don't click.
No.
Like the guy can go and live in the mountain. I'll survive. Not even one risk can kill snakes and get back in shape. The guy doesn't drink. And you see his physique. I mean, the guy is my age, and his body looks like he's fucking 23. And Ellie, a great trainer, they're a couple, and but as soon as you tell him, can you turn the Zoom on? He's like, what are we doing? And then he throws the phone to the floor. He's totally a powerful Neanderthal.
Well, no, and the only thing about that is my Spanish is decent, but
Your
I
Spanish
mean,
is really good, but
well,
his
okay, but
slangs are really
it's
tough.
it's not just that, but I'm actually starting to decode his slang a little bit. It's just the fact that everything they send is in Spanish because the podcast is in Spanish. But because we want to, you know, have an American audience too, we translate it. And CapCut's
With
translation,
subtitles. With
yeah,
subtitles.
the subtitles. Now, CapCut's translation captions are good, but sometimes it's not perfect. It's
And
not
when Coach Book curse 5 times of every 8 words, it's complicated.
well, and not only that. So one of his favorite, it's mamada, mamada,
Mamada for the
mamada.
audience is it's got so many applications, but esa mamada is like what the hell. Esa mamada, right, is literally a blowjob. Esa mamada is like a funny thing to do, right? It's like funny joke, but he has that, clinch in his language.
Well, the thing is, it's the same word, but it can be used in about two dozen
25
different,
different,
yeah, two
yeah,
dozen different
yeah.
ways. So
That's funny. I say 25 and say 2 dozen. That's
yeah, so
fantastic.
decoding what he means in the moment, I'm getting better at it. But I remember, I think my favorite one is they were both using this, but it was translating as the knob, And I'm like, but contextually, I understand that's not what they're talking about. And I
No.
texted you, and I said, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah, that was really funny. I go like, why? It's really funny. And he just sent me the segment and then we decode it. And the other one that we're going to talk really fast before we listen to a nomination is leading the band. Leading the band, we put together myself. I'm sorry that I start by myself because I'm just going to take away me. Then we got Meg, that she's an amazing hip hop artist. And then we have the singer from the rock band called Balena that I introduced to the company. And actually they play in the Bourbon Room a week ago in Hollywood, and it was good. So over there is just we talk about the experience to become a professional musician, what you need to do, how you need to do it, and all that thing because of everyone touring, recording albums. It's in a little standby, but it will get back early next year. So now, nominations.
actually-
Arete Media podcast.
Actually, right now I'm just gonna check OBS real quick because I'm paranoid. Yeah, we're good.
Okay, yeah. Remember okay, just for the record,
geez.
this show is called Toon Talk 2.0 because we record Toon Talk for 3 hours, and then at the end we realized that no one of either of us we were recording.
Nobody recorded it.
So we took a deep breath, and then we did Toon Talk 2.0.
You know what's interesting though is that's the moment. Not that I doubted it, but this will make sense. That's the moment when I knew that you and I were going to be able to work well together because a lot of
I'm
people
fucking
would have.
awesome.
Well, no, because a lot of people would
Oh,
have
I'm not
gotten.
awesome. That's what you're saying.
No,
You
no,
wanna
you
fight?
are
You
awesome.
wanna
But this
fight?
this
You wanna fight?
illustrates whatever you're weak.
Dude,
You're weak. You're
I'm
not eating.
still bigger than you. And yes, I don't know Krav Maga, but I'm really fast running.
What's that from? That feels like it's a reference to something.
Probably.
Yeah. But
My
so but
biggest
that
flex is I you don't know where I live.
yeah,
Sorry.
but that's how I knew that we would get along from a business standpoint because we already got along as friends. But we were both like we both just laughed about it because after that, what else are you gonna do? Like, you gonna get mad? Really? Like, what the fuck? You know?
Well, that's things that happen. One, and second, when you really want to do something and you commit to do something, you understand that there are going to be good times, bad times, times under pressure, times that you annoy each other, and that when it comes to I'm always personal being a team player because I grew up in a basketball and a football family, so I know that sometimes you're going to throw a pass and it's going to get intercepted, even you throw the perfect pass.
Mm-hmm.
And if the lineman tells you, "Oh, you're stupid," and the running back like, or the receiver, that team is never going to be successful.
Never.
Because what happened there is that everyone goes and tackle the guy, try to get them to get a fumble, so we go again, or your defense go and try to get the ball back, and nobody complains. The only voice that can complain is the coach. Period. As in this job, if you will, we are the owner of the team, the coach. The defense, we need to suck it up and just keep moving forward. Saving Private Ryan says one of the most smart things that is applied in business. Orders go down, complaints goes up. If you follow that structure, all the time it's going to work. To share to the audience, a couple of hours ago, something about the business came. If I didn't with a business, a team player, I just took the decision and called you and say, "Hey, read the memo." I call, right, my business partner. I call everyone involved in our business to listen to their perspective because we're a rock band in this Arete Media podcast. We're a family, but a family with like the Brady Bunch. We all sing, we all work, we all perform, we all do everything. Oh, and I'm really glad every time I open our website, please visit aretemedia.org and go and look all the art involved, the pictures. Everything is done with so much care. It's time to change Toon Talk 2.0, by the way, because we have a new one. But besides that, everything is well done. So, and I'm really proud of all this, right? It's not just the design, it's all the people that is involved. And that's why our leader in this area of the company and in original founder of Arete Media, original founder of Arete Media podcast. I can't believe how my voice, after recording for 6 hours, is still alive singing. So I was recording
Well,
a
you're an
song.
artist.
Yeah, but I was doing something with my voice that I don't supposed to. But
You're
it's
not.
sounding.
You're not supposed to go into your falsetto.
No. The falsetto is no. Right now is no. I'm talking about the raspy voice for the other song. One
Oh,
take, a full chorus is like, oh, and I don't suppose, but it was sounding so good next to the other voice. Anyway, long story short, we're here. We have our Artie, Arete, Arete, Arepp, Aramam awards.
arepas.
Arepas. Sounds like arepa, the food in Colombia, the arepa award. Actually,
Hey,
I think
man.
that we should gotta make
My,
an arepa in gold and give it to everyone.
well, no,
The arepa award.
shout out to my beautiful girlfriend, but she makes fucking killer arepas.
What's up,
Oh my
girlfriend?
God. Oh, they're so fucking good.
There you go. Arepa awards. We need to make an
Arepa.
arepa gold. We just one arepa and gold open and get
One
the sauce.
arepa. Yeah, there you
That's
go.
funny. That was funny. Anyway, can you share with us the first nomination, please?
All right. So the first category is funniest episode of 2024.
Okay.
And the nominated episodes are Arete podcast number 15, Godzilla X Kong X Godzilla -1, featuring the Spur of the Moment podcast. That one was really long, but very funny.
Yeah.
Next, we have The Final Frontier. Do androids dream of killing red shirts? It's such a funny episode because we basically had the same reaction of this episode. We were like, is this real? Like, how did this get made? Like, seriously. And then also we have the Goosebumps crew, the bumpy side of YouTube, which those guys are always fun and funny and entertaining, which is saying a lot because I'm not, obviously, they're huge Goosebumps fans. I'm not, but I still watch their show and I'm entertained and I laugh because they're just, when you can tell people just genuinely are into something and it's kind of infectious. Like,
Yeah.
I watched their first episode thinking that I would eventually turn it off, not because it's bad, but because I'm not into Goosebumps. And I watched the entire episode and I could not believe it. They were talking about the first season of the Disney Plus show, the Goosebumps Disney
Okay.
Plus show. This is a show that I've never thought I would care to watch. And after watching their episode, I'm like, I kind of got to check this out because I got to see if it's as bad as they say it is. So then we also have Average Intelligence Podcasts, Average Intelligence Election Day coverage, which I got to say, which is kind of weird. Apparently, we didn't do a lot of comedy episodes on Average Intelligence in 2024, which is odd because we're normally a bit funnier. And I know why Eric picked this one because there's a
Yeah.
moment in there, and I apologize, I don't know what time it is. It's somewhere in the middle. But there's a moment where I'm doing a Hank Hill impression and I inadvertently sound what can best be described as a Hank Hill orgasm
Okay.
because I'm trying to do the Hank Hill thing where he's making fun of the word Baja. It's like Baja, but instead of Baja, it just kind of comes across as oh.
And this nomination is for what? What is they're nominated for?
Average. This is funniest podcast of 2024.
Funny podcast
Funniest podcast episode. I'm sorry.
episode. Yeah. Yeah. So
Uh,
remember, what is the next one?
so the next one is the part of your Broadway world, a Hocus Pocus birthday spectacular, featuring myself and Justin Spur, who have affectionately become known as the Problems. Because every time we come on Haley's podcast, we just derail it, and we don't try to; it just happens.
Yeah, you guys have that magical thing.
It
When
just
you
happens.
derail everything. Yeah.
Then we have down the middle, episode 75, cutting the AEW roster, which ironically was supposed to be a serious
A
episode.
serious episode. Yeah, I remember.
But then I'm in just disbelief because I just can't believe what Tony Khan is doing to that company. He's killing it dead.
It's important, people, that you go and listen to this podcast and these episodes, because trust me, you're gonna have a blast. And we want your real opinion when you vote. Why? Because we appreciate every one of your thousands and millions of votes that we're receiving, but we want you to be part of this. Why? Because if you have an idea, if you got something, just go to aretemedia.org. Underneath to the right, you can send us a record message. You don't have to type anymore, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So anyway, keep going. Next nomination. You know
So-
where I'm going with this.
So then we have Toon Talk 2.0, characters on trial number 1.
Let me tell you
And
something about this.
Here's the thing. This
Let me
one's
tell you about thing.
hilarious.
We have a production meeting before every episode, and we decide what we're going to talk about. We do a little research, sometimes a bigger research. But this time, I don't know where I was walking Ozzy, as everybody knows. I walk my dog, and I say, why we don't do fake trials with characters that we love? And Jake is like, okay, all right, that sounds fun. But then I say, I want to trial Darth Vader. And Jake said, well, let's trial him if he's a good father. Right? I say, hell yeah. And we decide not to do it ourselves. We wanted to invite a contrapart in the legal system. So I was going to be the defense and the prosecutor. So who we going to call? Well, the funniest guy in the freaking network, Justin. But then we're thinking, okay, in the production meeting, we need an impartial person, somebody that really don't care about what people think, that has the knowledge of everything. And who we're going to call?
The Oracle.
The Oracle, our friend Alexander Sakal, that he's an oracle in every pop culture thing that you want. And we put him as the judge. My God. You were doing the voices of, and it's not, and trust me, people, this is not about making it perfect. We're improvising everything.
That is where we deserve, and actually for the exact same reason, Average Intelligence won funniest episode last year, because we did Ends Destroy the Barbie movie, where we actually use legitimate Barbie and Ken dolls and take the piss out of the Barbie movie. All of it is improvised. Every single bit of it. I knew sort of the shell, but I mean, it was a very loose concept, and you should watch that episode too, even though, because it's last year. But let's just say that Macho Man Randy Savage makes a surprise appearance and teaches everyone a lesson about egalitarianism. But in this episode is probably an even better example of improvisation, because it's 4 people that are improvising the whole thing. And what's interesting is
we didn't have a script. We didn't have
Nothing.
anything but the theme.
And we shifted it. We changed it on the fly because it was going down a different road, and it became very funny. And we're gonna bring it back. Oh my God, it's gonna be so stupid when we.
I'm gonna tell you something.
It's
If
gonna
we
be
win
so
this category, I promise that the surprise will be so big that the next episode could win 2026, because the concept is fantastic. So I don't want to praise more in our world. I want to keep everything as
Yep.
biased as I can, but you gotta go and listen, because, and I'm gonna invite everyone and Jake to put after this segment when he talks as Obi-Wan Kenobi,
Oh my-
and when
no,
he talks
actually.
about Princess Amidala, but both, like, because me being the defensive attorney, saying that Darth Vader is a good father, and Justin saying that he abandoned Anakin, showing so many personal perspectives. And then when you think the judge is gonna be ruling one side or another, I'm not gonna give you a result. He comes and say, hold a second, you're all wrong. We're judging him for this. And everyone's like, what? It was really funny. I highly recommend that you watch it. The trial and we don't stop here. We trial Goku and we trial Batman.
Specifically,
I
the George Clooney Batman.
The George Clooney Batman, but talking about his nipples.
I'm sorry. As a prosecuting attorney, I felt that I needed to attack him in every way possible, and I mean,
we
they
rotate.
were just
I was the defense attorney there. Yeah.
they were just poking out for everyone to see. I feel like I had to talk to it, but I think my favorite bit personally was when R2D2 took the stand.
We're not going to tell you anything. I mean, remember to vote. It's really important that you vote. We don't charge people. We're not asking you for money. We're asking you to vote. Why? Because Arete Media is totally supported by 2 big sponsors, Jake Bogger and Max Forsan.
But also in this category, we have Spur of the Moment podcast episode R-rated comedies, which that one's legitimately funny.
It's really
That's
funny.
a good one.
It's really funny. I
And
think
then-
that this category is the hardest one.
It is. It's really tough. And then we also have leading the band, episode 6, under the influence of music, which I'm actually really proud of that title. That's pretty.
Yeah, it's really fun. What else we have in the deck?
We're to the next category now, and this one's easy because you can just see them. So the next category is best thumbnail of 2024. Which honestly, I'm just going to save you guys some time because this is one where you can literally see the thumbnails that you're voting for. So you can just check that out when you vote. But we have some really good ones. Some really, really good ones.
Just go and check them out and remember to vote and just have fun with it. And remember, we're going to give a prize. And last year, the best podcast of the year was the Arete podcast.
Well,
And he got the award there. I'm pretty sure we're going to
it was,
show.
no big thing. Look at that. Shiny.
Tiny
so-
thing.
That's the final category, but every year, Podcast of the Year gets a custom-made championship belt made with their podcast colors in mind.
Yeah.
And last year, for 2023, the Arete podcast won. And one of these
It
days,
was
I'm going
totally
to...
biased.
No,
It
one
was
of these-
totally biased.
See, every time
totally
you say that,
biased.
I know that you voted because mathematically, there's no other... I got Justin to admit it because, fun fact, I did not vote for the Arete podcast.
We weren't partners back in the day. I needed to vote.
I know. What I'm saying is
I'm
you...
kidding. It was good. It was good, man. It was good. You won fair and straight. I'm just messing with you.
Well, I'm surprised because, like I said, I didn't even vote for myself. But the next category, because we'll get to Podcast of the Year, the next category is Best Guest of 2024.
And here are the nominees.
Oh, man, this one's stacked. This one's
All
hard.
right, let me do the space so you can put it there.
Oh, no, I'm going to go through them.
I know. I'm just kidding. Go
yeah,
ahead.
but this one's hard.
Can
so
we do
we've
it?
got...
Can we do it? Oscar award. It's like the nominees are.
Well, I mean, we've already been going, but sure.
I know, but come on, just these ones.
Okay, go for
I
it.
say
go for
I
it.
say it's like that, and then you say it all serious, and then I see a little explanation of each one. Okay, are you ready?
Okay,
Have fun
yeah.
with it.
Yeah,
So I
okay.
want people to see how we're improvising this.
Okay.
Yeah. So what is the category?
Best Guest of 2024.
So let me tell. Wait. Arete Media podcast.
In our podcast, we are really happy to have special guests. This category is for them. The nominees are
Rabbi David Grossbaum from the Arete podcast. John Paul DeJoria, The Complete Guide to Happiness with Dr. Fantastic. Catherine Law, The Goosebumps Crew. Host, Average Intelligence Podcast. Tegan Early, Part of Your Broadway World. Papa D, Toon Talk 2.0. Ola Litkova, Startup Core. Sean Harmon, Road to Stardom with David Firestone. Dragos Iliad, Classica Musica with Dr. Peter Zissa.
Get my wife out of your fucking mouth. Sorry, I needed to say something like that. I
I'm
don't know if I say it
going
right.
to.
Get your anyway. You know what?
No, my
It's
favorite.
Good. It's so good that he got so good power in his speech. Imagine that he gets nervous and says, "Get yourself off my wife's mouth."
There's a great edit where he says that.
Oh, really? I haven't
Yeah,
seen
they. I don't remember exactly what he said, but they play with it to make it sound like Will Smith said.
Like that.
It's not real. It's not real, but
But
it's
I'm
funny.
pretty sure when you edit, and obviously people are listening what we're doing, we're just having fun. But if you put the claps and the little thing, Oscar Wise is going to be really funny. Anyway, next category. By the way, over there, no disrespect, but I never behave like a journalist.
Ever.
But with Papa D, I actually went all the journalist, and he was so thankful. And I could just go more, but the thing he needed to run because I needed to go to the next step. But he was like think because I actually went deep into the persona behind the musician, and I'm really proud of that one.
Yeah, that was a
But
good episode.
next one. What's the next category? We don't have to do the Oscar thing anymore.
Well, for the guests, I feel like that was appropriate.
Yeah, it was appropriate.
The next category is Best New Podcast of 2024. So these are any
That is gonna
podcast that
be
was.
tough.
It's
That
going
was
to be
gonna be
really
tough.
hard.
Why? Because that's when we grew up the most and faster. So that was
Yeah,
tough
I
stuff.
think last year there were only 3 nominations. No, 4. There were 4.
Really,
5.
which one? Do you remember?
No, there were. It would have
It
been
was Toon Talk,
Toon Talk, Goosebumps Crew, Spur of the Moment,
Haley's,
and Haley.
and
Yeah,
who won? It was Goosebumps was the winner, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, I believe so.
I think
Yeah.
that's right.
I remember because I voted for Goosebumps because the one that they were having more followers.
Oh, they had a breakout, like huge,
Yeah.
and then they had a hell of a year this year too. But anyway, Best New Podcast. So these are podcasts that were created or started in 2024. We've got Leading the Band,
Yeah.
The Final Frontier,
Oof.
Startup Core,
Ah,
The Complete Guide to Happiness with Dr. Fantastic,
cool.
Classica Musica with Dr. Peter Zissa,
Woo.
Road to Stardom with David Firestone,
Who and double who.
and The Method with Coach Book and Ellie Reza.
Oof. Let me tell you my problem here, right?
We know and love all of them.
No. The only one that I'm not involved as a producer is the only one that I'm involved with the name and the music. So I'm
Right.
screwed. Everyone I'm involved with the original concept with you. We came with the idea for a startup. We selected the host. We came with the idea for the start. The names, we came with the idea for them. So every one of those has like the method. It was funny. Let me share this with the audience. I'm like, hey, Book, how you doing? Good. You liking the podcast? Like, yeah, man, this is amazing. But I'm feeling a little old. Would you mind changing the song? And I'm like, shut the fuck up. I make that song is already uploaded in every platform. You're like, yeah, I just feel that I'm a little old for the. It was really funny to listen to his voicemail. But like I say, we work really hard for you people. Listen to them. See what feels better for you. Whoever that wins is part of the family. So we're just happy to celebrate every win. So it's gonna be tough I already vote. I vote day one, and it was really hard for me to vote. I'm gonna keep my vote secretly, but it was really hard for me to vote.
That's the beauty of it. And I arranged it this way on purpose because oh no, actually I take that back. No, I couldn't see who voted for what. I purposely keep it that way because when voting's anonymous, you get the honesty. And this is the same way. I can see the percentages when it's done, but I don't know who voted for what.
It's
I have
so
no
hard.
idea.
This one was so hard for me because everyone who has as a producer, as a concept developer, as a musician, everyone had a little thing. So, but I decided to go with my heart, and I want you to do the same. Remember that after you vote, you enter into a raffle to win 3 billion Bitcoins.
You
And
do not.
That you will receive that money in the year 3034.
You will not. That is
Come
not a
on.
thing. That is not a thing that is
Come
happening.
on. Okay, they're gonna get virus coin.
There you go. That you can do.
There you go. All right.
All right.
The
So
thing is, okay, this is BEAT coin. It's Bitcoin. It's a Bitcoin. Anyway, so just for the record, do you know why the Beatles are called Beatles?
no, but I imagine there's some really dumb British reason as to why.
Yeah, it's the beatless. They're out of beat. They're not Beatles. They're the beatless. If you see how it's spelled, the Beatles. Anyway, it was a funny joke because they didn't keep the rhythm together, even they do. Anyway, sorry, I just remember that because of the Bitcoin. I'm gonna open a new coin called. Do you saw the hack situation with the coin?
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, we're an entertainment podcast. We're gonna lose the track of everything.
No, you're good. You're good. So the next category is best podcast episode of 2024.
Oof,
This is
that
another
was
really hard one.
tough. Yeah. What?
Actually, no, I take that back. The selections were so basically, people podcast could nominate an episode, a lot of them just chose, because the other process would be just your highest viewed episode, which most of them did this for their nominations. But so the nominees are Arete podcast number 22, Judaism with Rabbi David Grossbaum, The Final Frontier, episode 2, Space Strippers.
That's actually really a really good one. And it's funny too.
Justin came up with the title. That's a good one. The Complete Guide to Happiness, Who is Dr. Fantastic? The Goosebumps Crew, Dad's a Mad Scientist, Goosebumps Crew number 54. Average Intelligence Podcast, DVZ Narrator Passes, and Dragon Ball Daima. Part of Your Broadway World, Wicked Part 1, Stage, and it cut off. So what's the title? So it's Wicked Part 1.
It was Wicked Part 1, yeah.
Yeah, there's more in the title, but it cut it off for me. Down the middle, episode 83, PWI Top 500, Toon Talk 2.0, The Path to Cobra Kai Season 6, which was our highest viewed episode.
It's our highest viewed episode. I remember that we just nailed it. And when I saw the views, I go like, what? When this happened? Right? But yeah, that's a good thing.
Classica Musica with classical guitarist Dragos Ilie.
If you go and see the views, you will understand.
You'll understand. Yeah. The Method, which they actually only had one episode that could be nominated at the time nominations needed to be submitted. But The Method, the first podcast, El Primer Podcast, because the titles are in Spanish and English.
The first podcast is called Primer Podcast.
Primer. Road to Stardom, episode 3 with Aaron Gavin.
If you like to be an actor, sorry, I apologize. If you like entertainment, you just got to go and check the Road to Stardom.
See, the other thing I'm really proud of is a lot of our podcasts are not only entertaining, but they're also really informative. And it's like Virus just said, if you want to be an actor, actress, or in the entertainment, if you are already, you should watch this podcast because you get such great advice from people that are working in the industry today.
Yeah.
They're not dreaming, they're doing, and they're giving you free advice.
Yeah, they're doing it, man. So, yeah.
We also have Spur of the Moment podcast, The Gnarly Stuff, which this has their best performing video clip of all, where they talk about the Terrifier films and their very unsettling encounter with a family that felt that it was okay to bring a child as young as 6 to watch Terrifier Part 3.
That did a lot really good in views. I remember.
It did really good. We also have Leading the Band, episode 6, Under the Influence of Music. And last but not least, Startup Core with Sebastian Mora of Alfana.ai.
And I want to be really honest with the audience. Toon Talk, Spur of the Moment, it's just fun and entertainment. Arete, politics, right? We have everything, but the Road to Stardom is about real actors represented by a real manager in Beverly Hills, and the startup is a real business person that advised you how to have a startup. As Peter Sisa is actually a real maestro with more than 7 books published, and he's an amazing guitar player. So
yeah, I still can't believe he didn't mention that to us because we found out. It's just,
he called me and told me, hey, I got a problem. I said, what? My Christmas book is not working. I go like, do you have a Christmas book? Yeah, I can find it on Amazon. I say, how many books do you have, Peter? 7. I go like, okay, you need to tell me that so we can promote them in the podcast.
It's like, you need to mention that. Which Dr. Fantastic also has. I don't know when it's coming out, but he's got a Christmas related book as well. Although there isn't a wide release date yet. But if you watch his podcast, you know about it because he's mentioned it a few times. And then last but not least, we have Podcast of the Year 2024, which I don't need to go through the list because everyone is nominated.
So let's make it simple and cut to the chase, people. Just vote for me. I don't give a damn. I don't care what you say. I love everyone in this family, but you need to fucking vote for me, motherfuckers. Remember, there's another podcast family and a big podcast that last year, Elaine Venus from Seinfeld, right? Julia Dreyfus. Mm-hmm. She won the best podcast of the year worldwide. And it's a podcast about listening to all women with their experiences in every industry, right? And I don't know if you got the chance to see how she claimed that they make this big, and she does these like 4 minutes, right? And then she comes to the stage and she goes, just listen to all women, motherfuckers. And she left. That was pretty cool. So being faithful to the Dreyfus family and to the podcast family, just vote for me, motherfuckers. Toon Talk 2.0. Just vote for me for this last one. I don't care. Call me biased.
He just
Call
wants
me
the belt.
unfair. I just want the fucking belt. Okay, check this out. I got a specific set of skills. If you don't vote for me, I will find you. I never remember the lines, but I will kick the shit out of you. And I'm going to take $2 from your pocket because I'm going to find everyone that didn't do it and pay for my own belt. You hear me? With your own money. So it's easier if you vote for me. Come on.
He's gonna Jay and Silent Bob you.
Anyway, it's gonna be when is the deadline, Jake?
So voting closes December 31st at 11:59 p.m.
And then when we're gonna know the results? Because I want to go and have the results here.
So you will be able to watch the results on the January episode of the Arete podcast, where we will reveal the winners.
So I got a question for you. Are everyone's gonna be invited to that podcast, like a gala night? And come on,
it's pre-recorded.
come on. Oh, come on.
The reason being is because there are clips and stuff and such and graphics and all that.
Okay, invite everyone. We all get together night time.
Do it that way. It's too
Come
complicated.
on. Come on.
Maybe.
What are you gonna do?
Well, you know what?
You got the boards, you got the people. Sorry, that's my Latino Seinfeld.
I was gonna say, I don't know why we're getting the Yeti Seinfeld.
Asshole. Anyway, keep going. Maybe next year, right? Maybe next year.
Well, because the goal, so the goal of the Artie Awards serves a couple different purposes. One, it's fun. It gives people, and it's always nice to get recognized for accomplishments. Even if you don't win, at least you're nominated, you're recognized. Cross promotion's another big deal. So this is all about promotion. Like maybe you watched Toon Talk 2.0, but you had no idea that, well, you would know that David Firestone's podcast existed. So let's say that you only watch Average Intelligence podcasts, right? You may not have even known about the road starting with David Firestone, but maybe you want to be an actor and you're like, holy shit, now I need to check this out because that whole thing.
Just want to dress nightly gold and go there to a digital media where everybody claps and we celebrate every one of her. Can we do it next year?
Well, no, but the goal is to, one of these days, I would love for them to be, a legitimate like internet broadcast thing where we have an actual show where people are invited and we have enough podcasts to where we have like an audience and even press.
Well,
because
I'm just keeping it short because now it's just 14 podcasts, because in 3 years it's going to be like 100. I know myself. So I was trying to make it short and nice for you, but you don't want to do it. That's fine. What I'm going to do. Anyway, people, the point is vote for me. That's the whole point. That's the whole point what I proposed this episode. I don't care about the rest. You need to vote for Toon Talk 2.0. He's a good person. He is a decent person. I'm not. I need to win that belt. You hear me? I want that belt.
So, but yes, you can cast your votes by clicking the first link in the description below. Make good choices. Vote for the best. Us.
Vote for me. Thank you. For us. Thank you. Now you're rolling to the thing. Yeah, it's good. But honestly, in a decent way, we wanted to do this special one because we really care about the people in Arete Media. We really care about the friends that we became, everyone. And at the beginning, we all talked to each other in the Discord. Now we're getting so big that sometimes it's even harder.
I was going to say, the Discord doesn't have a lot of activity right now because there's so many people.
I know there's so many people, but at the same time, everyone is so connected.
Yeah.
And in different levels. David called me for cameras. I called Justin for a voice in a podcast. Haley asked me for a book. I called Jake for an advice. Jake called me because I called him and he didn't answer. But either way, I want to thank everyone. Obviously, Arete Media. Obviously, Foursome Corp. and everyone involved, the sponsors, and everyone that we've in contact, every guest that took the time to be with us. Just thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jake. Thank you to everyone. Thank you, Marius. You're the best. You don't have to say that, Jake. It's fine. People, you don't have to say that. Just vote for us. But yeah, for me, it will be all for this episode, because this is about just a special episode of Toon Talk 2.0, bribing you to vote for us. And no, the reality is to share and celebrate everyone hard work, because we are a commitment and we have a commitment with each other just based in friendship and future expectations. And that's where life is about. And yes, Jake, you can pull your stupid belt out.
It's also about big 6-pound belts, courtesy of our friends at TrophySmack.com.
And
So
I want
when
to
you
thank our
start,
sponsors. Yeah.
yeah, when you start your podcast network, because you're making a bad decision and not just joining us, but when you start yours and you want to do your award show, you can get your trophies, your belts, rings. They do rings now, wall art, thanks to our friends at TrophySmack.com.
And I
So
want to thank our
that's the second link in the description. Click on that and get your custom made belt today.
I want to talk about another sponsor, the candles. They're always with us. Can you guide us to the third link in the description?
That would be our friends at Stevie Wicks, which I'm pleased to announce, which obviously they would be. The Christmas candles are available currently, and there's special site-wide pricing, so get them today. There are Hanukkah candles for our Jewish friends. I know I've got a set that's going to my good friend Rabbi David Grossbaum later on this week. And then also for all you anime nerds out there, they have our special dragon candles that are also available.
That's
You
freaking
can
awesome.
get those on the shop. And there's actually a charity event going on the store. There's a partnership with Bellowing Acres Alligator Sanctuary all the way down in Florida.
I
And
want to thank our biggest sponsor, Coca-Cola, that always make Jake been drinking one.
if
I want to
only.
thank McDonald's, because he's stopping me to lose more weight.
If only.
Come on, dude, have fun with it. Our biggest sponsor is our friendship and everyone involved in this podcast family. So thank you, everyone. I don't think we're forgetting any sponsor, right? We already talked about cabinets, of course.
Well, yeah, but we got to limit it. We can't have every sponsor in every episode, and that gets too lengthy.
No. I mean, no. Today, because the event I'm talking about, because it's all the sponsors that celebrate the whole family.
Oh,
so
gotcha,
please
gotcha.
vote. So please vote. Keep it in mind that we're doing this because we love you and we really want to share our time and our experiences and our joke with you. And for the last time for today, Arete Media Podcast. Sorry.
The Arepa Awards.
The Arepa Award.
There's no R. Well, I guess
The
it'd be
Arepa.
R.
The Arepa Award is the Arete.
Arepa.
Arepa. All right, Jakey boys, thank you very much. We got a lot of work to do tomorrow, and it's just Monday. But thank you, everyone. But it's Wednesday for you people. Good thing is I don't have to record on Tuesday, so I can do more mixing for the album. Thank you, everyone. I was gonna say God bless you. I don't know why. It just came that. Maybe because I've been reading Dan Brown behind you.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, seriously, I always see that. Anyway, by the way, before we go, I know we're not gonna do recommendations, but I went to see the War of Rohirrim, the Lord of the Ring. Holy shit!
Is it
I
good?
went there with good expectations. I left the theater feeling good because they have a Japanese director that understands anime and the anime movement, and we have Peter Jackson, our guru of the Lord of the Rings, as producer.
That's good. That's good because
Maron.
Maron. I was cautiously optimistic about it because it does look good, but I'm pleased to hear that it is good.
Man, highly recommend it. What you need to do is vote and then go and watch the movie. Thank you, everyone. Toon Talk, and we're gonna say this. I think we're gonna have one more podcast this year, but I think it's this is the last one of the year.
No, there's 2 more.
Okay, all right. As our great legend Chevy Chase will say in his movies, let's roll them up.